Good morning, all the children. Hope you all are well. So today the topic which we are going to start with, the same. We have to continue with the topic which we left yesterday, and that was auxins, about the enzyme phytohormone auxin. And yesterday we did about the historical background of auxins, how auxins were discovered, who were the scientists who discovered auxins, and that we learned yesterday. And the last experiment was done by Boyson and Jensen, which I described, Boyson and Jensen. This was the experiment which I described last. And in this, I told you he took the coleoptile of a plant, and first he inserted the mica strip on this side. Mica strip is impervious mica strip, impervious mica strip. That means it doesn't allow movement of molecules. So auxins are produced here. Auxins are produced at the tip of the coleoptile, here at the tip of the coleoptile. So from the tip, because of the presence of this mica strip, they cannot move down. So what happens when the light rays fell on this, here, of course, because this side it could move. The auxins could move this side. This was the shady side. And of course, there, when light fell on this, it showed a bend. This was what I discussed. It showed a bend because here we did not have any mica strip. Then in the second experiment, what they did, that they inserted the mica strip on this side, impervious mica strip here, and when these were exposed to light, this was exposed to light. When this was exposed to light, what happened? There was no change. The coleoptile was still upright. There was no bending. There was no bending. The coleoptile was still upright. Now, why this happened? See, whenever it bends, that means whenever the coleoptile bends, that means there should be the cell division on this side. There should be cell elongation on the shady side. Only when the cells of this side, they will divide, the cells will divide and elongate. Only when the cells on this side will divide and elongate, then only it will bend. If the cells of this side, the shady sides, will not divide or elongate, it will not bend. So for bending, there has to be the cell division and elongation of the cells which are present on the shady side. So this is what happened. In the first case, the cells here, they divided and it bent. But what happened here, and what helps in the cell division and elongation? These auxins, hormones which are produced at the tip of the coleoptile, they help in cell division and elongation. Because here the mica strip was this side, it was not this side. So the auxins, they shifted from here to here. They came down and they helped in cell division and elongation as it is bent. But here what happens is present on this, because of this mica strip, the auxins could not diffuse on this side, the shady side. So there was no division, no elongation, and it did not bend. This is what was shown by Boyson and Johnson. That means they concluded. The conclusion which was given by them was, auxins are present towards the dark side. Auxins are present towards the dark side and help in cell division. And of course, one more thing to which they help is, and cell elongation. Cell division and cell elongation of the cells present of the cells present of the cells present on the dark side or at the shady side, at the shady or dark side, at the shady of dark side, so that the plant bends towards the light. This was a conclusion which was given by Boyson and Jensen in support of their experiment. Then after this, the next topic which we are going to discuss is functions of auxins. This is the next topic, functions of auxins. The functions of auxins is number one, it promotes cell division. So the first function of this is promotes cell division. The second function of this is it initiates lateral root formation. Initiates lateral root formation. So lateral root formation, what are lateral roots? If this is root, main root, these are the lateral. So the lateral root formation is initiated, then it helps in apical dominance, promotes apical dominance, promotes apical dominance. What is apical dominance? Apical dominance is the apical bud grows unless it doesn't grow completely. Once the apical bud grows completely, then the lateral bud grows. That means till the complete growth of apical bud, the lateral buds do not grow. That means it promotes the apical dominance. At the same time, it promotes flowering in pineapple. So flowering promotes flowering in pineapple. At the same time, it induces parthenocarpy in tomatoes. Induces parthenocarpy in tomato. What is parthenocarpy? Parthenocarpy is development of fruit without fertilization. So development of tomatoes without fertilization is promoted by auxins in tomatoes. At the same time, premature leaf fall and fruit fall is prevented. So prevents premature leaf fall and fruit fall. Premature leaf fall and fruit fall is prevented. This is another function. Now there are some more function like this auxins are used in tissue culture. So where we can use uses of auxins? Number one, it can be used in tissue culture. Okay, it is used in tissue culture. How it is used in tissue culture? To develop callus. To develop callus. What is callus? Callus is a group of cells which, like we take a tissue. Okay, then we take few cells or tissue, then from that tissue a group of cell is formed, and that group of cell is known as callus. And this, from a little tissue, a big callus is formed by the action of auxins. Okay, so this helps in the formation of callus. At the same time, it is used in stem cutting to obtain plant by stem cutting. To obtain plant by stem cutting, this is another function of this. Then there are some synthetic auxins or artificial auxins or synthetic auxins. Synthetic auxins are there. The synthetic auxins, their name are 2,4-D, 2,4-D. This is one of the auxin. Then there is 2,4,5-T, 2,4,5-T. These two synthetic auxins, they are used for killing VD sites. That means VD sites, especially the dicots, dicot VD sites, dicot weeds. Okay, dicot weeds are killed by the use of by using 2,4-D and 2,4,5-T. Dicot weeds are killed. See, they do not harm, they do not damage the monocot plants. Monocot plants are not damaged. Monocot plants are not damaged, are not harmed or damaged. That means if there is a lawn and in that lawn grass is there, lawn grass is there, the lawn grass is monocot. So along with the lawn grass, which is monocot, some dicot weeds have also grown. So what happens? They spray this synthetic auxin 2,4-D or 2,4,5-T. Now what happens? The dicot weeds are killed, but the grass or the monocot plants which are there in the lawn, the grass, that is not harmed. So this is the function of auxin which are there in your syllabus, and these are the functions of auxins. I'll repeat for you once more. Promotes cell division, initiates lateral root formation, promotes apical dominance, promotes flowering in pineapple, induces parthenocarpine tomatoes, prevents premature leaf fall and fruit fall, then uses our tissue culture to develop callus. Callus is a group of tissues, okay, which is used in developing new plants. To obtain plant by stem cutting, okay, we can take a small stem with apical bud. So what will happen? That apical bud will help in the growth of the plant by stem cutting. Then there are synthetic auxins like 2,4-D and 2,4,5-T. Both of them, they help in killing the dicot weed. So suppose they are sprayed in a lawn where monocot plants are growing. That means the grass is growing. Grass is monocot, so it will not damage or it will not harm the grass. It will just kill the dicot weeds which are present in the lawn. Now we come to the next phytohormone, which is gibberellin or gibberellic acid. Gibberellin or gibberellic acid. So here we come to the next gibberellins, the next phytohormones. Gibberellins, also known as gibberellic acid. And in short, we write it as GA. So we will start with this now. Now these are gibberellins or gibberellic acid are derivatives of terpenes. Derivatives of terpenes. These are derivatives of terpenes. Now, how these were discovered? In Japan, the farmers who were growing rice or paddy, growing paddy, the farmers which grew paddy, they saw that in their field some paddy plants, they are very long. They noticed some very long or very tall paddy plants. Paddy plants, they noticed it. Now, some of the paddy plants were very tall, so they named after some seedlings of the paddy plants were very tall. So they named this disease. They said that these plants which are very tall, they have a disease, and they named the disease Bakane disease. Bakane, Bakane disease. They named it Becane disease. Later on, there was a researcher, his name was Kurosawa, Kurosawa. Kurosawa. This gentleman, he found that in these plants, which were in these paddy plants, which were tall, these were infected by some fungi, by some fungus. These tall plants were infected by some fungus, and the name of the fungus was Gibberella. These were found to be infected by some fungus, and the name of that fungus was Gibberella, 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 and Fujikuri, Fujikurei, Gibberella fujikuri. This was the name of the fungus. So he noticed that these plants were infected by this fungus, and this fungus, that means this fungus, it produced an active substance, and this active substance was known as gibberellin or gibberellin, which later on was found to be gibberellic acid. Okay, so this was found to be gibberellin, and later it was identified as gibberellic acid. Gibberellic acid. There are many gibberellic acid or gibberellins which are discovered till now, and out of all gibberellic acid, 3 is the one which is most studied and discovered first. Okay, now let's come to the function of gibberellins, the function of this hormone gibberellin, the function. Now the function, when we talk about the function of this promotes cell elongation. So the first function is promotes cell elongation. It promotes cell elongation. At the same time, it delays senescence. It delays senescence. Senescence is aging in case of plants. Aging in plants. So it delays senescence. It promotes cell elongation. Okay. At the same time, another function is it increases seed maturity. When we say that it increases seed maturity, the rate of seed maturity is increased. So when the rate of seed maturity is increased, that means germination is fast. Germination of the plant is fast. The rate of germination is fast. So seed maturity is increased. So the rate of germination is fast. That is because of the action of the gibberellin. Another is it brings about bolting in rosette plants. Rosette, R-O-S-S-E-T-T, rosette plants. Rosette plants are the plants in which the leaves are arranged in a flower-like manner, like cabbage. If you see cabbage, the leaves are arranged in flower-like manner. So such plants are known as rosette plants. Now, when we say bolting in rosette plants, normally what happens, if you see a plant, here is one leaf grows here, another leaf grows here. So normally what happens in normal plant, the internode means this is one node from where the leaf is arising, this is another node from where the leaf is arising, and this area, this distance is internode. So mainly what happens, the internode has a certain distance or it has certain length. But in case of cabbage, if you see, in case of cabbage, there is the internodes are very short. How can we say that internodes are very short? See, in the cabbage, this is the node, and from this node the leaves arise. One leaf, two leaf, and another leaf arise from here. Another leaf arise from here. So very nearby the leaves arise. That means the internodes are very close. Internodes are very close here, like this. See the leaves. So the internodes are very close. So bolting is increasing the internodes. That means by the effect of gibberellins, what will happen if this is one node? So another node will be produced here and another leaf will develop from here. That means this internode has been increased. So this increase in the internode, increase in the length of internode is known as bolting. So this bolting is due to the effect of gibberellins. Then there is another effect that it increases the height of sugarcane. It increases the length of apple fruit. So the height of sugarcane is increased. When the height of sugarcane is increased, that means more juice, more sugarcane juice will be obtained. Then length of apple fruit. Length of apple fruit is increased. By increasing the length of apple fruit, usually what happens, if the apple is just circular like this, so it will be small in size. But if its length increases, it will be bigger in size and the person will achieve more money by selling it. So these are the effects of these are the functions of gibberellin, which is seen or which has been researched. And gibberellin is one of a very important phytohormone. After gibberellin, the another phytohormone which is important is cytokinin. So the next phytohormone is cytokinin. Next phytohormone which we are going to study is cytokinin. Now, here, there were two researchers and the name of the two researchers were Skoog and Miller. Skoog and Miller. These two researchers, what they noticed that the internodal cells of stem of tobacco plant, they took tobacco plant and its stem had some internodal cells. Stem had some internodal cells, and the internodal cells of the stem of tobacco plant, it proliferate. That means divide speedily. They divided fast under the action of auxins, but not alone auxins. Along with auxins, something else had to be added. And that something else which was added along with that, it was either extract of vascular tissue or coconut milk or yeast extract. It was either yeast extract or coconut milk or extract of vascular tissue. So it was observed that they proliferate. Later on, this was isolated, this hormone was isolated and it was named cytokinin. Later on, this which was added with this, in this, it was cytokinin was isolated from this. Cytokinin was isolated and named kinetin. And it was named kinetin. Okay. Now this is a purine derivative. Cytokinin is a purine derivative. Like the gibberellin was a terpene derivative, and this cytokinin is a purine derivative, that means nitrogen based. Purine amino derivative, aminopurine derivative or purine derivative. Okay, and it works with works better with oxen. Works better with oxen. So it was observed, and it was named by Skoog and Miller. It was observed in tobacco plant. When the stem of tobacco plant, they saw that the internodal cells which are present in the stem of tobacco plant, they show proliferation or cell division or growth under the action of auxins with either of these things. And then from these things, cytokinin was isolated and it was named kinetin. This was a purine based derivative and it worked well with auxin. Okay, it worked well with auxin. Now we come to the functions of cytokinin. The functions of cytokinin hormone, the functions is, first it promotes cell division, promotes cell division and cell elongation. Promote cell division and cell elongation. This was the first. Of course, along with this, one more thing which it helps is in cell differentiation. Cell differentiation. So it promotes cell division, cell elongation, and cell differentiation. At the same time, it promotes adventitious root formation, leaf formation, and enlargement. Okay, so leaf formation and enlargement. Adventitious root formation. Adventitious root formation is also another function of this. Along with this, it breaks seed dormancy. Seed dormancy is there. That means even the favorable conditions are there, but the seed doesn't grow. That is known as seed dormancy. Even in the presence of favorable conditions, the seed doesn't grow. That is seed dormancy. But when such seeds are treated with cytokinins, they grow. They grow. Okay, they germinate. So the cytokinins break seed dormancy. Now, how do they break this seed dormancy? That means, what is seed dormancy? Seed dormancy is the process in which, even in the presence of favorable conditions, the seeds doesn't germinate. If these seeds which doesn't germinate even in the presence of favorable conditions, if these seeds are treated with cytokinins, they start germinating. So cytokinin is known to break the seed dormancy. And how does it break the seed dormancy? By increasing the metabolism. The metabolism is increased, and this increase of metabolism breaks seed dormancy. At the same time, one last effect of cytokinin is it delays senescence. It delays senescence. Senescence is senescence. Senescence is aging in the plants. So the process of aging in plants is delayed by cytokinin. So these are the functions of cytokinins which I have described just now. Now, I think we have 2-3 minutes now. Before I start with the next topic, or I think 4 minutes are sufficient for the next ethylene. Just one topic is, after that one more is left that we are going to abscisic acid we will do tomorrow. But just now I'll tell you something about another phytohormone, which is cytokinin, which is ethylene. I think till here it is clear to you, clear to everybody? Yes, beta? Till here, is it clear to everybody? Any question, any query in this? Yes, it's clear. I'm getting one response that it's clear. Yes, Rohan is also saying yes. Yes, Priya. So it is clear. So the last one, which I would describe just now, is ethylene. ethylene. Now, the next phytohormone is ethylene. Ethylene, or also known as ethene. Now, this ethylene or ethene, it is a gaseous phytohormone. It is gaseous phytohormone. And how it is produced? It is produced by ripening fruits. Produced by ripening fruits. The fruits which are undergoing the process of ripening, they produce it, and also the cells which are undergoing and cells undergoing senescence. So this is produced by these two cells undergoing senescence and the ripening fruits. The function of this ethylene, the function of ethene or ethylene is, the first function, the most important function of this is it promotes ripening of fruits, promotes fruit ripening. The second function is it promotes senescence or maturity. Promotes senescence. At the same time, it increases length of the petiole and internodes in deep water rice plants. Increases the length of petiole and internodes in deep water rice plants. When the length of rice plant, the internodes of rice plant are increased, or the length of petiole is increased, it comes out in the air, in the environment, and gets, and the air exchange, the gaseous exchange is proper. At the same time, it breaks seed dormancy. Like cytokinin, this also breaks seed dormancy. That means even in the presence of favorable conditions, when the seeds, they do not germinate, this is when, and when treated with ethylene, their seed dormancy is broken. Okay, that means they start germinating. Then they also cause sprouting in potato tubers. Sprouting in potato tuber. Sprouting in potato tuber. They cause sprouting in potato tuber. Now there are synthetic form of ethylene. Synthetic form of ethylene is known as ethofen. This is aqueous solution of ethylene, also known as ethofen.